Yeah, that's going to be tough because you don't generally become a founder just because you want to make money. I mean, you have some folks that are serial entrepreneurs who know how to start businesses and build them up and then sell them off. Um, but actually that's its own kind of skill set. But I don't think that's who we're talking about here. So what we're talking about it sounds like, or you got into this business because there's something about it that you loved. So maybe you worked for somebody else and you realized you could do it better, or you saw an opportunity in the market and then jumped on it. And it's your baby. So you're not gonna want to give up part of your identity because that's who you are. But that doesn't mean that it can't morph. It can't evolve. So the first thing that you do is start with baby steps. Find the thing that you do that you like the least, and then let's get somebody trained on how to do that. Whether it's somebody internally or if you have to bring in somebody else to handle that part of the job. Because I guarantee you that there's not a founder everywhere that likes doing all of the parts of their job. So start off with the stuff that you like the least. Train somebody how to do that and then give that to them. And so that you will feel comfortable about it, make sure that you build into your system way that they're going to be able to communicate how well they're doing and if they're meeting their metrics in such a way so that then you're not going to worry about it. Because if you don't do that, then you're going to hand this thing off and then you're going to be constantly worried. Then you're going to be looking over their shoulder and nobody's going to be happy. But if you build this thing in such a way, it's like, okay, well, every Friday, this person's going to talk to me for 15 minutes. They're going to show me this dashboard. They're going to show me these things that I want to see to make sure that we're on track. And there'll be a couple of minutes for them to ask me questions. Okay, well, then you're going to feel much more comfortable about handing this thing off because you're going to talk about it every Friday. You're going to be able to, in case you start to see a trend that maybe they didn't see, you're going to catch it right now. You're going to be able to deal with it. You're going to be able to train them a little bit more, but you're not going to worry about it. So you start finding those things until, eventually at some point or another, you're left with the one or two things that you do like to do. And then you get to really kind of be CEO at that point. Or if it's not vision stuff, maybe what you're really best at is kind of the COO stuff, the operation stuff. Maybe your business hasn't grown because you're really not kind of like that big visionary person. You're really good at making this machine work really effectively, right? Well, then as the owner, you can still get somebody else who is good at that thing and there's plenty of owners who are now the COO and not the CEO. You're still the owner. You still have, you know, veto authority. And even if you don't have a board, but the point is that you just find those things, start peeling them off and make sure that you have ways where the reporting and the metrics are very strong so that you don't have to worry about it. And then you begin to have more time to do things because now you're having people come to you and report to you on these things. And all of a sudden you got a bunch more time. So now you can maybe start to do that thing that you told yourself you were going to do 30 years ago. Right? You start this business and you say, I'm going to work really hard for this so that someday I can do X. And then you hardly ever do X. Why? Because you're so busy in the business doing stuff that you feel like you can't do it. But then if you kind of do what it is that I've just outlined here, then all of a sudden you have enough time that you can start to do X. And more importantly, you can probably do something you've never done before, which is to go take a 2-week vacation, which I consider to be the gold standard for a business owner or a CEO. If you could take a 2-week vacation and everything runs just fine without you, then you have been successful because you've trained everybody well enough to make sure that they can handle all the issues. I understand, right? So if a major fire happens or something like that, yes, you're going to get a call. But for you to be able to go on vacation and just totally relax, that means you've done your job.